Hi there. So we've beaten Porto on penalties after it finished 1-1 over the 2 legs. Your thoughts on the game?
Well, I have to say, despite all the talk before the game from Arteta about we've got to play our game, we've got to be intense, they didn't play that quickly or with that urgency that they've been showing in the Premier League, Arsenal. They were quite pedestrian, particularly in the first half, a bit better in the second. They were the better of the two teams, and Porto came just to spoil and foul and die on the pitch, or pretend to, and make as little as possible of a game of it. But Arsenal did not get into their stride, and they really played some nice moves, but the final touch, the final pass, quite a few of them were not quite on it, I thought, tonight. And Saka, that's probably the worst game I've ever seen him play for Arsenal. He was really poor. His control and his passing was poor. But we managed to struggle through, and the penalties were brilliant. I was a bit concerned when Saka didn't take either the first or second, because him and Odegaard are the two main penalty takers, and when he slipped down to third in the pecking order behind Havertz, I thought he's had a poor game. Now he's living down there. If anybody's going to fail to score, it's going to be him. He took the best penalty of the lot, and then Raya came up with a brilliant save to clinch it, so I'm pleased with that. We're through to the last 8 in the Champions League, all to play for. It's a good job we've got a 3-week rest now till we play Manchester City, because I thought that Arteta didn't bring the subs on early enough, and a few of those players were showing the strain and really struggling at times, and I think he should have brought Jesus on earlier, certainly, and it might have been resolved within normal time or extra time. But at the end of the day, without playing brilliantly, we've won, we're still in it. Let's see who we get in the draw.
So I think over the 2 legs, football has beaten anti-football, and for all of the diving and the cheating and the falling over and the breaking up play and the dirty little fouls and everything else, just one word for Porto: fuck off. So yeah, sorry, I don't normally swear that much, I know. But
Alex watching that.
Yeah, I'm sure. But absolutely, we were the better team over the 2 legs. It goes to show you that without that silly lapse of concentration at the end of the first leg, it would have been a bit smoother. I think they played quite nervously, as is understandable, and also probably a bit tired, because again, big game, 5:30 on a Saturday. It's nice that the Premier League were kind, like the Portuguese league, who let Porto play on Friday, so they had an extra day to prepare. Oh no, wait a minute. Yeah, so that it would be nice if the Premier League considered the teams in the Champions League, especially if they want that extra place. Maybe try not to kill us. But we've done it, we've won, we're through. Arteta has won his first knockout game at the Emirates as an Arsenal manager. In fact, he won it twice, because we beat them in normal time, and then we beat them on penalties to win the tie. And just very, very pleased to be through. And what I will say is that whoever we get in the next round is less likely to be as anti-football. I'm not saying they won't have dirty tricks, but they won't be as anti-football as Porto, which I think is going to suit us better. And now that we've got this monkey off our back, I think we'll be able to relax in, and hopefully we'll play our better football. The other thing to say, I know the subs didn't bring on that much, and I actually hold my hand up shortly before Trossard scored. I thought we had a lousy game, and he wasn't in it, and I said we need to take him off and we need to bring on Jesus on the wing. And then he popped up and scored the goal, so thank you very much, Leo. I apologise. Yeah, and yeah, look, obviously Partey wasn't anywhere near ready to play. Jesus probably didn't have more than 40 minutes in him at the moment. You don't want to crock him. So you've got, I thought Zenny came on and was very poor and rusty, but again, I just didn't, maybe Smith Rowe you could have utilised a bit. I'd like to have seen him on, but with the ones that he was going to bring on, the big ones, hopefully they'll all be fit by the time we come round to the next one, and you'll then have some proper game changers on the bench that you can bring on at 60 minutes rather than at 85 minutes.
I have to say though, I thought Jesus actually looked very sharp when he came on.
We know he did.
He caused them more problems in half an hour or so that he was on. than most of the rest of the team caused it in 120 minutes.
I would also say I think we massively missed Martinelli and his directness on this pitch. I think he would have given them a torrid time down that side, and I think it made it easier for them to defend because we didn't have the pace on our left to make those kind of breakthroughs, and we weren't as effective as we have been. When him and Saka are on it, especially with Havertz, the way that he's been playing, we've been able to attack down the left, so fine, they cover the left, we'll go and attack down the right. But when he's out, it's not quite the same, and I think when Jesus, especially when he went out wide, had a bit more of a chance to cause them some mayhem and panic down there, and it made it a bit easier. But yeah, look, we kept fighting, kept a clean sheet, we won the penalty shootout. Our first trip back into the Champions League ain't done yet. So here's hoping for Wembley at the end of the season.
Yeah, and Porto were really difficult to break down, and it was hard for us to create chances. But what a bit of magic from Odegaard to create that chance of Trossard, which he took so well.
Arsenal scored, that pass by Odegaard took 3 players out of the game in the space of about 8 yards. Was absolutely brilliant the way he took it to one side and then played it through. And full credit to Trossard, because like Ian, I also was saying, he's not really at it tonight. I think they need to change him and bring Jesus on in the second half. And 2 minutes later, bingo, he scores from that ridiculous angle, as he did against Liverpool and as he's done in 1 or 2 other games. So fair play to him, but he just doesn't have the pace of Martinelli, and also it was very noticeable, particularly in the first half, with the pressing. Odegaard wasn't leading it because without Martinelli, he doesn't have his best ally, and Jesus. The 3 of them are the major pressers in that team.
Havertz is one of the top pressers as well.
Havertz joins in, but he's not a leader at it. And Odegaard, it was noticeable for me that Odegaard was not pushing, and their goalkeeper looked a bit ropey, and Arsenal didn't really push on him when they were trying to play out. But look, at the end of the day, we didn't play that well, but we were the better team. We deserved to get through, and we have done it.
I will say that Havertz's numbers will say that he is one of the best pressers in our team, and he was last season as well. But yeah, I think today definitely we looked. There wasn't the high press on it, and as I said, that Martinelli was missed for that. But I'd also like to give some props to David Raya, and I definitely think one way to endear yourself to the Arsenal faithful is to make a big save in a penalty shootout in a European knockout and take the team through. So big hand and big props to Big Dave, the new Big Dave. So yeah, like Mr. Seaman before him, penalty shootouts seems to be something he's quite good at. So long may that continue if we need them.
Yeah, for sure. So now we're through to the next stage. How far do you think we can go in this competition?
Well, it's an interesting question, because if you look at who's left, the 2 best teams are Manchester City and Real Madrid. Any of the others, even Barca, who got through tonight, they're not the team that they were. Bayern Munich, not even in top position in the Bundesliga, also not quite the team that they were, and of course it would be doubly sweet if we ended up knocking them out with certain persons.
Yes.
Yeah, Kane and Dyer in the team, and we knock them out. That would be great. Plus, we do owe them for a couple of real trouncings that we've had in the past from them. But Real and Man City are the 2 best teams left. And then I think Arsenal are probably the next best on current form, but not on tonight, but on current form. So I don't think there's anyone we need to be scared of, and I don't think anybody will relish being drawn against us in the next round. But we've got to be producing our best form if we want to make further inroads in this competition. And if we do, then I think we can go further.
What I would also say is, don't forget that we've already beaten City at the Emirates once and not beaten them in a penalty shootout at Wembley once this season, and hopefully we get to turn them over again in 3 weeks' time or whatever it is when we head up to the Etihad. They are a phenomenally good side, and it's certainly no gimme, but I think we may have broken the City curse, and I don't think there's anyone I would fear that we wouldn't potentially be able to beat over 2 legs. It depends how we play. If we're going to play nervous and tentative and not play our football, we'll struggle. If we're going to play like we have been playing in the Premier League and go and do what we've been doing, then you know, I think we're certainly a match even for Madrid and City. So roll it on. Let's see what we get, who we get in the draw on Friday, man.